Hey everybody, this is Jasmine Banks, and I am in the middle of editing a web series. Editing is a ton of work. It's a lot of tedious work, and it can be both a technical thing and a creative thing, and it's very important to have the yin and yang of that. So I like to prepare myself by making sure that, I don't know, whether it's I ate chocolate or I watched something funny. Tonight, my choice was the show Blackish. It was not only a clever and funny episode, but it dealt with an issue that I've been trying to sort out in my head since the scandal broke out about Bill Cosby. For many people, Bill Cosby means something different. It made a difference in how you viewed your future. For me, there was definitely that. My approach to adulthood and to parenting. His comedy was from a fatherly point of view and was about the reality of life, but you can view it with a sense of humor. Growing up, there were a lot of stresses that were in my family's life. Obviously, having a child that overnight became ill with a serious illness and then by the age of 10 ended up permanently wheelchair bound was a huge problem. It gave us all a lot of pressure to try and, deal with, and then on top of it try to navigate life. Then on top of it, it was difficult to try and laugh and find the hope and the humor in the middle of some of these circumstances, especially, when you're in pain constantly and your body is physically changing because a disease is taking control and trying to degenerate you and take your life and your abilities away from you. So listening to my Bill Cosby tapes and watching Fat Albert and seeing Mr. Cosby on Sesame Street and all the different places that I saw him, and then eventually the Huxtables, it was like having a support system, if you will, and an example of how to pursue life under stressful situations for me, because his comedy was based in these are the things that happen in life. People get mad, they have fights, sometimes kids act up and the parents lose it and don't handle it right, but yet it was all delivered with a sense of humor that made you feel like, yeah, stuff happens in life and sometimes you just gotta laugh about it and you have to move forward and you have to know that there's always something to hope for and to live for. And when it came to my very own circumstance, it did help me to look at things with a sense of humor and with a light at the end of the tunnel attitude. So even when I became a parent, my approach to parenting was definitely influenced by Bill Cosby in that I approached a lot of it with a sense of humor. There was this reminder in the back of my head that, no, it's going to be okay. Just look back at this. Remember when you were a kid and you got your parents going crazy because of dumb stuff you were doing. And now you look back and you see your children doing it. There's something funny about that. And so he made a huge difference in my life from this point of view. So naturally, when this scandal broke out, and especially, the type of scandal it is, it was heartbreaking. When they arrested him, I broke down and I cried when I saw that, because here's my hero, this father figure from TV who was helping shape my life and being this support system that he didn't even realize he was being, it suddenly falls from grace. That was really difficult to see, and I think for so many people they feel that way as well, because Bill Cosby meant something to so many people that affected their life in such a positive way. And then you ask yourself, well, if I was admiring or looking up to this person that turns out to be this monster, what does that mean about everything, all the positive things that came from his influence? Does that mean none of that ever existed? What does that mean about my future? What does it mean about my outlook? Do I feel like a fool? Because I've talked to so many friends about this who, Bill Cosby meant something to them and their heads are doing the same kind of dance. And after watching the episode of Blackish, and the show was talking about how the Huxtable show made such a difference for the outlook on the African American family, and what does this mean? Does it take away anything? And I guess we can't worry about real Bill Cosby. Like anybody who's a celebrity, there's the fantasy version and there's the real person. And when we're watching a movie, a show, stand-up comedy, listening to music, whatever it is, are we looking for the real person, or are we looking for the fantasy, the entertainment person? I still am in a little bit of conflict on how much I want to support watching anything that Mr. Cosby was in at this point. It's a huge conflict for me because I also know there are so many other people that put their time and effort and talents and skills into those shows that, you know, when you don't support it, you're not supporting them. I feel like I'm at a place where everything that was a positive influence didn't get erased. It's still there. You know, everyone is an example of they do things that are right and some people make mistakes. So maybe we look at the good decisions and we take from that. And as for the mistakes people make, no matter how big or small they are, we learn a lesson through that person's example of what not to do. And that, you know, here's a man who's built an empire based on all the things that he was doing that were amazing, and look at what's taking him down. And so maybe it can make us reflect on our own behavior and go, well, what should I not do that could get in the way of my success in the future, or ruin my reputation, or whatever. And so I feel like, in conclusion, that that's what I need to take away from this whole scandal, is I don't have to lose the positive part, but I can learn from the negative part, and it can still be a positive influence on my life.